Hello, my name is Molly Hildebrand. I oversee leadership development, and today I wanted to share another perspective on leadership. Do you see your team as a collection of individuals or as one organism? We begun this year looking at a leading edge concept to approaching work and dealing with issues. We're taking our time to understand this transformational concept, so I highly recommend reviewing previous videos. So far, we've learned the analysis approach breaks down what we already have available to us, and the synthesis approach has us take a backward step to look beyond what we already have available and connects our current context to the unhindered and unexplored imagination. Now we can move to the perspective of thinking that integrates synthesis and analysis. It's called systems thinking, and this is a very hot topic in leadership development. Dr. Russell Ackoff, the pioneer of systems thinking, defines a system as a whole containing two or more parts where each part affects the whole and each part does not act independently. The most important point is every system has a defining property that comes from how the parts interact, and this defining property is something which none of the parts does individually. For example, a car is a system. The defining property of a car is a means of transportation. Notice, the car's ability to be a means of transportation is dependent on how the parts work together. And notice that none of the parts by themselves are able to be a means of transportation. When the motor interacts with all the other parts of the car, you have a means of transportation. But can the motor alone transport itself? Of course not. But because our brains naturally work towards taking the car apart to improve each part, it can lead to valuing the motor over every other part, even though the motor alone cannot provide the defining property. The motor will not provide a means of transportation. But that's what so many managers do to their teams. They naturally look at their teams as a collection of individuals. The first step towards seeing them as an organism or organization is to determine the defining property of the team, which is a first step in the synthesis approach. Leaders know that in order to reach the creative and innovative levels that will truly differentiate their organizations, they must see their team members as a system, and the individual parts make up a whole, and each part does not act independently. Each part affects the whole system. Bosses focus on each individual and how they can get the most work out of each, regardless of how it affects the system, leading to inefficiencies, rework, and low engagement. So, are you a leader or a boss in how you view the parts of your team? Thank you for letting me share my leadership thought. Have a great week.